Hey guys, welcome to FAQ Friday. I'm Andrew Beach. I'm an executive coach, and I actually am I'm a teacher of self-education. I help executive leaders seeking their next career opportunity strategically, and we bring clarity and confidence to confusion and uncertainty. And today I have a great presentation followed by a Q&A. So the chat is open, it's live. You're welcome to provide us your questions, and we'll try to answer those at the end of the presentation. So today the presentation is the top 6 ways that you can find the right job now. And this is something that came to me recently when I had a number of people asking me, Andrew, what is the best way for me to find a job? And that was a challenge that was easier for me to take because I've been down this road many times before. And what I found was that those people that had a common theme as to how successful they were in the search, which is over 1,000 people that I've coached through the career transition process, is that the successful seekers that had the shortest job career transition or strategic search had 6 things in common. And it's by no means a complete list, but it is a list. Okay, so please leave your comments and questions below. If you're just joining us, please feel free to leave a comment or a question. We'll be answering those at the end of the presentation. We'll have an open Q&A session. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that the successful job seekers that I've worked with have is they have the right metrics, meaning they know which activities generate the best results. And so many of them tracked a number of different metrics, but there was only one metric that consistently provided results for almost all of the people that I coached. And that was the number of people that they met. Okay. By that, I mean them strategically going out and finding people to meet, and having conversations strategically about their strength and the other person's situation, their company, their career path. It wasn't anything to do with the job. In fact, it was more of a strategic discussion among peers. So that's the number one metric that's been used to actually generate opportunity for job seekers, is the number of people you meet. So let me ask you this. How many new people do you meet and communicate your value to on a daily or weekly basis? Are you getting the results that you need? If you're not, you might put this at the top of your list of things to change or to make better. The second thing, let's move on to number 2, is that almost all these folks had a schedule, meaning when you were at work, you probably are expected to do certain things at certain times of the day. Took a 15-minute break here or a lunch there, maybe ate at your desk, but you were expected to deliver some kind of results or work in exchange for money and do it in a given period of time. The first thing that happens to go out the window if you've been laid off or you're out of work is any kind of schedule. So the folks that I've coached that had big success did specific things at specific times, meaning they prioritized the meeting of people, which was their number one metric. They had specific times that they would generate meetings with those people, and they would attend certain events, group events, and they had a priority list on which things came first and which things didn't. Okay. So the first thing was the metrics. They had a measurable, and that measurable was the number of people they met. The second thing is they had a schedule that prioritized the meeting of people. Okay. A written schedule that certain hours were doing certain things. Okay. The third thing is they already had in place, and this is something maybe that isn't changeable on the fly, but they had in place active relationships with the right people, meaning they already had an existing network, yes, but that network was active, meaning they maintained contact or connection with important people over a period of time so that when they came to a crossroads or they needed to make a change, they could easily make that change because their network was active. Okay. And so those are the top 3 things that I've found that created the perfect storm. And so there's 3 more here. Now, if you're questioning some of the things that you want to know or learn about networking, which is the #1 activity for job seekers or even seekers of opportunity, is I've got a free networking checklist that I would suggest you guys check out. I'll put a link to my website in the description down below. But when you go to andrewbeach.com, you'll actually see there that I offer a free resource called a networking checklist. You just plop in your email and you get a free download of this checklist. Now, I've been networking for a long time. In fact, some people would say I'm a networking expert. I wouldn't say that, but some people have said that. And what I found is I even miss things. I miss things that I should have remembered and I didn't. So let's be clear that there are situations where you need a checklist to keep you on track. So I would go ahead and go over there and download that checklist and let me know what your results are in using the techniques and the ideas on that checklist. Okay. On to #4. The #4 characteristic of the most successful job seekers is they define a specific role at a specific company that they're interested in. So that's really interesting because what I've found is if you have a target, you actually will hit it every time. So if you don't know where you want to work, you just need a job, you'll hit that target in your job search. Will probably take a lot longer because you haven't defined what it is you really want. And so I would take the time, the energy, and the effort to actually define the titles and the companies that you really want to work for, and then go meet people that either have that title or potentially could hire for that title. Now that takes some doing, I know, and meeting strangers is uncomfortable for a lot of people. So I wouldn't recommend doing that if you don't have a little bit of practice with the networking. What I would suggest is you go and practice on people you know and trust, where the stakes are a little bit lower and your potential for disaster in your future career opportunities is at risk. Okay, so start with the people you know, practice, and ask them if you can practice as if they were the target person that you want to meet at the target company you're interested in. Okay, so that's the top 4. So know your specific company and the specific role. Have an active relationship with the right people. Schedule. You create a schedule that mirrors your activities, and you have a metric to track your progress, meaning the number of people you actually meet. Okay. So on to #5. The people with the most successful job searches understand their unique value inside and out, meaning they know who they are. They've defined it. They can tell you in a mind's eye what it is they're good at. And so they've actually taken the time to document these things. It's not like, well, I'm a project manager. Well, what kind of project manager are you? There's 10,000 project managers in our city. How would you differentiate yourself? Okay. So what I would suggest is define very clearly what you're good at and down to the detail. And the people that have defined that product to detail get bigger and greater success. Okay. And that leads us, actually, it's connected to the 6th characteristic of people that are high achievers and find jobs in the shortest period of time. And that is they know how to communicate the value they've documented very effectively to other people. And that comes in the form of, so #5 would be building a brand, right? Knowing your brand. Step 2 would be promoting your brand. Okay. And so it's good to have a brand. Everybody's talking about it, I know. And the second thing is be able to communicate your brand to other people. And that can be challenging for folks because talking about yourself for a lot of people is uncomfortable, unnatural, and it could lead you to rethink your sanity because you might feel egotistical. And what I would say is there's two things to think about here. One is you could be humble and maybe not egotistical, but nobody would know about your great product or service. Okay. So it's much like if you, I hear this all the time, this analogy. If you had the cure for cancer, how many people would you tell about it? So that begs 2 questions. One, do you feel that you have some skill, some strength that is just like the cure to cancer? So that's the first part. A lot of us haven't taken the time, energy, and effort or the courage to say, yes, this is my cure for cancer. And others, #2, just are afraid to talk about it. So both of those can be overcome with practice and identification, and starting with the meeting of people you already know. Okay. So recognize that if you've never done professional networking before, that maybe you're in kindergarten. All we want to do is go from kindergarten to first grade. And that would be the advice I would have for you. But so that's the top 6. Let's run through them one more time. Number 1, metrics. The people who are successful at job search in a short period of time have the right metrics, meaning they measure how many people they meet. Number 2, they have a schedule. They follow and do specific things at specific times. Number 3, they have active relationships with the right people. Number 4, they have a specific role at a specific company that they're interested in. So the well-defined target market. Number 5, they know their own value inside and out, meaning their brand. They know their brand. And number 6, they know how to communicate their brand effectively and promote themselves to others. By effectively, of course, I mean not slimy or salesy or self-absorbed. Okay. So that's the end of the wonderful 6 ways to find the perfect job today, now, for successful job seekers in a short period of time. Okay. So I now open the floor for questions, and I'm in the live chat. So go ahead and leave your questions in the live chat or in the comments below, and I'll be sure to answer them after the event is over. Okay. Any questions out there? Okay. All right. Well, listen, again, there's a link down below. I would really appreciate comments, but there's a link down below for you to get the fabulous networking checklist off of the website at andrewbeach.com. And every Friday, I'll be doing an FAQ Friday for job seekers. And so you'll find that either here on YouTube Live, Instagram Live, or on Facebook. Okay, today we're doing YouTube. And so we might do simulcast. I'm not sure yet, but if you have a preference, leave that in the comments down below as well. Okay, hope you have a great weekend and happy networking.